just your general take on that game first, please?
Oh, look, I don't think the scoreline reflected the game. I thought that they were a lot closer in a contest than what actually it ended up, which is really disappointing from our perspective. I thought we were in the game. I thought we were probably the master of his own downfall, if I'm honest. I thought we probably his lack of discipline, both with the ball. Coming out of yardage, we were a little bit undisciplined with the ball. We obviously give the penalty away on Lamb early doors, which I think, look, it's a really soft penalty, if I'm honest. It's one of those that, look, I understand, the modern game, you can't really touch the kicker. It's like a little bit of a slight push, and all of a sudden, it meant we were, they managed to get the 2 points and go in front. But yeah, I thought we were a little bit ill-disciplined. I thought there was a lot of good stuff we take from the game. Once again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I thought as defence we're really good for the vast majority of the game. But the problem is we just end up doing too much. I think in the second half we were pretty much coming out of his own 30-40 and gallantly staying in the fight and defending really, really well. But inevitably, when you play against a side like Leigh, they're a good team. They're a good side. They're a really good team, as they showed last week at Wigan, as they showed in the friendly at Warrington. They're a good side, well coached, got some really good players, and when you give them so much ball, inevitably it'll pay.
Are there similarities there to last week? Because again, as you say, there it's another game that you're in and just come away on the wrong side of that scoreline.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, it does. It feels very similar to last week. It feels like we're in the game. We had an opportunity to win it. Like I said before, I think it was ourselves that didn't win it. Rather than Leigh winning it, I thought we didn't win it. I thought there's lots of good things. I think everyone can see that where they're really fighting for each other. The players are really digging in. They're having a real fight for themselves, for the teammates, for the badge. And that's something we've got to continue. We've got to keep continuing that. But yeah, last week we were probably a little bit of game management, I thought, and this week I just thought a little bit of discipline, both with the ball and without the ball. The try they scored towards the end, when he made a break, Armstrong, Jake Bibby had an head knock, so we were a man down, then we lost the ruck, another man down, so we were defending with 11 men in the line when they made that break. But the issue was we'd just done too much beforehand.
In games like that are at times decided by those sort of fine margins, how do you go about making sure that you do come out on the right side?
Although I think we've got to control the controllables and what we can control, and that was being a little bit more disciplined with the ball. I thought we could have been a little bit stronger coming out of yardage. We have a little bit more genuine push with each other and find a bit of a decent play the ball, because they were getting numbers in and slowing the ruck, and I thought we could have been a bit better in that aspect. And look, all the things I'm speaking about are in our hands, and that's one thing that I spoke to the players then. Obviously, I'm really disappointed with once again being in the game, coming away empty-handed. But if we keep building and we keep performing the way we are and keep putting the right effort in and just fixing a few areas of his game up, when we start to get some bodies back on board, which we are, with 5 or 6 starting 17 lads currently out at the moment, which is probably unprecedented for the start of the year. Generally, hopefully teams will start losing some of their players, and we'll start getting some of our players back, some reinforcements, which again will kick us on once again.
Some of that discipline, can you still put it down to a bit of ring rustiness this early in the season? I think you look at 2 of those tries, for example, have come off unforced errors.
Yeah, look, no, I think it's us. I think it's a little bit ill-disciplined, and I think we've just got to learn fast that the Super League this year is very, very close, very tight. In each and every game I've watched, pretty much bar maybe 1 or 2, everybody's been in the fight until the sort of 50th minute. So if you give somebody a little bit of a sniff, then they're going to take it. And I just think that once again it was us. Like I said, I thought it was a really soft penalty on Lamb, but once it was probably a penalty, and then maybe a penalty, maybe. And when we're popping the ball out, coming out of backfield and giving them the ball, then it put a lot of pressure on us in that second half.
How do you as a coach go about drilling that discipline into your players then, over the next week?
Yeah, I looked about probably putting them in scenarios and with the face with putting them under a little bit of stress. What I'd like to do, is put them under a little bit of stress, a little bit of fatigue, and then play some sort of scenario stuff. We don't have that luxury. We've got a short turnaround. We obviously play Friday night, so we won't get many opportunities to be on the field this week. It'll be about like rest and recovery, and obviously the situation with us having a fair few players out, it's not like we can roll some players in, so it'd be more about patching yourself up and learning through video, through talking about it, through going through it.
How do you think George did being dropped in?
Yeah, look, I thought he did really well. You've got to remember he's only a young kid. He's not played that much half. He's played little bits for us, and obviously very disruptive last week. We have, Danny Richardson only played one game for us. That's what I'm saying. It's been very, very disruptive this pre-season, where we hadn't really had the same half-backs training together, and then we've played one game with one, and then all of a sudden his parent club's, requesting him to come back. So then all of a sudden we're throwing a young full-back in at the half, and I thought he did really well in not easy conditions. It were wet, it were windy, but he made his tackles. He were up against New, who out there, who were quite devastating last week at Wigan, and he got his body in front, and I thought he did as much as he could with the ball. So yeah, we're really pleased for George.
Did you have to sort of spread that responsibility around the sort of spine players? Because usually two is probably the run and the supporting half almost. George is obviously just dropped in there today.
Yeah. Look, it hasn't been easy really. Normally Clooney's is controlling half, and that's basically the way we're set up, the way his game plan's set up, the way we're structured. He's the controller, and we like to have Tui and Gags and George and players of that nature, and Aidan when he comes in just basically being sort of the second pivot and playing off them. So when you lose your control in half, it makes it a little bit more difficult. Once again, I thought Zach Wolford were immense. I thought he were immense in the 9 role, and he really helped the spine out. But yeah, it makes it more difficult. But Tui had to take a little bit more on board, and I thought he did tonight.
Injury-wise, did he come through okay today?
Yeah, you never know, Mo, with us. I'm thinking when I got in the dressing rooms after the end there were a couple of lads with bangs and bruises, but nothing to write home about at the moment.
Are you expecting anyone back on Friday?
Potentially Harry Rushton. Obviously out of the dead knock. He keeps failing his the test that you do to come back, so hopefully he'll pass the test this week, and hopefully he'll be in contention. But your George Kings, your Tane, Sutcliffe, Househall, Clooney, they'll be all in. I think they're all going to be around round 4, round 5-ish.
And just finally from me, I asked you a similar question last week. Has there been any sort of conversations about the chance of bringing anyone in on loan, anything permanent?
Yeah, we keep discussing that and keep looking at options, and it's obviously something that we're still obviously. We're always scouting around and looking and see if the right player's available and can enhance us. Then obviously it'd be great for us, but it needs to be the right person.